All right, my friends, welcome back to another episode here on the Fit Father Project podcast. Again, this is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi. I'm the founder and CEO here at the Fit Father Project. And today I'm honored and privileged to be joined by my friend, Andrew Smith, or Smitty as we call them. Smitty, welcome to the show, my friend. I would love for you to introduce yourself, your name, your age, where you're from, a little bit about what you do for work, and then we're going to get into your Fit Father journey.
Hi, Dr. Balduzzi. Thank you very much for having me today. I'm quite honored to be here. My name is Andrew Smith. Most people and most of my friends call me Smitty. I am 57 years old. I'll be 58 this December. I live in London, Ontario, Canada. I have 2 grown children and a lovely wife who I've been married to for 33 years. I'm lucky enough to work at a children's center here in London, and I'm a technician, and I build custom wheelchair seating for children anywhere from the ages of 6 months to 21 years old. And I've been very fortunate to have that job for the last 11 years.
That's amazing. Tell us how you found the Fit Father Project, and let's get into your Fit Father journey. I know you've been an athlete for most of your life and your military background. How'd you find yourself looking for the Fit Father Project? Where was your health at that time?
So back in November and December of 2020, we were just kind of getting through the middle part of the pandemic. I had succumbed myself to being in the basement on my rowing machine. I'm quite an avid rower. But because of the lack of ability to go to the gym and to get out, and just the whole busyness of my life for the last 2 years, I found myself at one of the heaviest weights, not the heaviest weight I've been in my life, but at one of the heaviest weights at about 265 pounds. I've always been a pretty big guy. I've always worked out. I've played lots of volleyball. I've the last 15 years of my life, I've been a quite avid rower. And during the pandemic, not able to go to the gym, looking at doing some workouts in my basement, I started searching the internet for workouts, fun things to do, both on the erg, off the erg, workouts I could do online with my friends, offline by myself. And after lots and lots of searching, I did several free, I guess we'll call them free, or YouTube videos that I watched you. I did like a mini Apex. I watched a small episode on nutrition, and I thought, you know what, this is something that might be fun to try. And so I signed up for the initial stage 1 of the Fit Father Project, and ever since then I've just kept trucking along. As I said, I'm very avid. I get up at 4:20 every morning, whether I work out or not. Something instilled to me when I was probably 12 years old and did paper routes. And it's just something I do. I can get more done between 4:20 and 9 o'clock than most people can get done all day sometimes, especially when it comes to physical workouts or planning my day.
So you've been with us for 6 months now.
Yes.
Your starting weight was right around 265, correct?
Yes.
Give or take?
Yes.
And what did you end up getting to in terms of your weight? What was your ending weight? And then let's talk about how you got there.
So I kind of just jotted down some of the weights. Between January and February, I had lost 15 pounds. And that was just following the nutrition guide.
In 1 month.
In 1 month. I thought that was a little quick, but knowing how much work I'd put into it, how much research I'd done, changing my vitamin intake and my supplements, I knew that I was on the right track. So the second month, from February to March, I was down another 7.6 pounds. And I've learned over the years, a program I did a few years ago, Dr. Balduzzi, I had lost like 38 pounds in 30 days. I looked great, but I felt like garbage. I mean, I was eating chopped up raw peppers for lunch, and that was it. And I knew that wasn't something that I needed to do. I knew I needed to learn about a bit more about nutrition. And I needed to know what I had to do for myself. Everybody's a little different, and the program that you provided just taught me things that I can do that make me feel good at the end of the day after eating what I had decided to eat that day. It really made a big difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
The working out thing, I can do that in my sleep, and I love working out. So the Apex 10 was right up my alley. In fact, after the first week and a half, I was doing, Apex 11s and going up 1 to 10 and then back to 1 and then back up to 3. And it might take me an hour and 20 minutes to do, but I just really, really enjoy the feel of that. With the pandemic, I was home most of the day anyway, so it worked out really well for me.
So you were losing 15 pounds your first month, around 7 your second month, and in total, I think you lost around 35 pounds in around that 6 months.
That's correct.
But also, I know even though those that are listening can't see you, you also gained a lot of muscle definition at the same time. I mean, you got stronger and bigger. It was a really cool recomposition that you did during that period of time.
Yes, and to tell you the truth, I'm really looking forward. Next week, the gyms are opening here in Ontario. So that was all done with your Apex and your, what's the word you look for? The program that...
The Big Five or the Double Trouble?
Double Trouble, Big Five, Apex 10.
FF30X.
I still do all of those. I've downloaded all your videos and made sheets that I put up on my board behind me so that if I want to do something different that day, I just do it. But I have a set of 35-pound kettlebells, a set of 30-pound kettlebells, and a set of 25-pound weights. And that's what I did with just those 3 things. No bench. I used, my bench was an ottoman. That's what I used for my bench, was an ottoman.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I got to the gym.
So you used an ottoman bench.
Yeah.
Keep on going. Tell me about this. Tell me about how you pulled this off.
I used an ottoman bench. I just lay down on my back and do the one of the workouts that you provided was just with kettlebells. I do my if I did an ab workout, I'd sit on that. I'd do that ottoman and have my legs go below my hips and then all the way back up. I leaned on it to do the deep breath, hold your stomach in part of the ab workout. I just made things work. So that, along with I have an ergometer in my basement as well, a rowing machine, and along with that, I made do for those 6 months, and it's been awesome. I've been on the water now for about 6 weeks, which has been nice on my boat.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So let's dive into some of the nutrition. I want to hear about more of the nutrition of your approach and what you were doing on that front.
So my wife especially is quite a good cook, and we tried different recipes. So we immediately went to the Fit Father Project recipe guide and started delving in, and we tried everything. I'm not a big fish lover, but we tried everything we could, and we have our favorite go-tos. And the biggest thing I do right now is my morning protein shake. So I work out in the morning, and then I have my shake. So before I go to bed at night, the blender's on the counter. Protein mix is there, the creatine's there, the cocoa powder sitting all there. So the first thing I do when I get up is I see that, and I know that right after my workout, I'm going to have a delicious breakfast shake. And it kind of gives me the empowerment to say, okay, after my workout, and I make them tasty. I mean, I like chocolate. So I make them tasty and so that's what I do. And the other thing I do that I wanted to mention that you really instilled was the other thing that's beside me as soon as I get up in the bathroom is a 24-ounce glass of water. So the first thing I do in the morning is I get up in the morning, nice. I lose some water, I step on the scale, I take a picture of that. So I have a picture of my scale for the last 6 months, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 days of what my weight is. And then I guzzle that water down. I go downstairs, have my morning black coffee, and I get ready for my workout. For me, it's about routine. For me, I think I mentioned this, when I was in the military, my first 19 weeks of basic training, I learned more in that basic training about life skills that I use every single day. And so when I read the program, and especially phase 1, I still use all those points that you put in phase 1 about nutrition and working out and like all of it. I still use those every day. Something pops up at least once every day that I remember from those first lessons, that first phase 1. And I think that for me, that's what's worked really, really well.
Yeah, it makes so much sense that you've really figured out how to standardize the beginning part of your day, which I know gives you so much good momentum moving forward into the day. there's so many subtle things in your routine that are great. This delicious shake that you look forward to, the exercise routines you enjoy and you can do at home in this location. And your wife's also a good cook and you tried out recipes and you know the go-to recipes. That seems like that makes a ton of sense into your plan. For work, what do you do for lunches and stuff in the middle of the day? What's your nutrition plan around that time?
So for lunch every day, I have a salad that's got both spinach and lettuce and greens in it. Usually it has a few peppers, and I usually add some sort of protein. It's usually cooked chicken. Sometimes it's ground chicken that we've made into some sort of chili, and I'll put that on top of it. But every day for lunch, it's always a fairly big salad and some sort of protein, and it works really well for me. I always have some almonds for a snack in the afternoon. I'm lucky enough, and don't tell anybody at work this, but I did sneak an espresso machine into work, so I have a black coffee in the afternoon, and then when I get home for supper, we have a delicious meal. So it's worked out really,
Okay,
really
so I'm going to
well.
recap this for people listening because it's as simple. This is good. You wake up, you pee, you rehydrate, you step on the scale, you take a picture of that. So you get immediate feedback where your body's at today. Then you go get your black coffee in the kitchen, get ready, you exercise. After the exercise, you have a delicious shake, you get ready, you go to work. At work, you have your salad with your protein for lunch, you have a snack of almonds, you have another espresso sometime in the afternoon, and you have a delicious dinner at night. You brush your teeth, you wake up, and you do it again. And that's what you did for 6 months, and you lost a ton of body fat, you got stronger, all during a time when I think a lot of people were totally derailed during the pandemic. You found a routine that you're able to move forward with, and now you're back on the water and your gyms are reopening up and you have more momentum than ever. That's what it sounds like to me. Does that sound like pretty spot on to you?
You've nailed it spot on, Dr. Balduzzi. It for me, routine is the key. If I start to lose that routine, then things go downhill pretty quick. So you have to catch yourself and get back to that routine very quickly. The biggest thing I struggle with is I have probably the biggest sweet tooth around. So, I mean, I still have a huge container of jujubes sitting on the top of my cupboard that I haven't touched in 6 months, and they would typically be gone in 2 to 3 weeks. So that's my incentive when I want something really, really sweet. And I still have some sweet stuff. Once in a while, I'll put a couple of drops of stevia or something into my coffee. Strawberry season's open right now, so I'll have some strawberries and a small scoop of ice cream. But I know what my limits are, and I know how much sugar I need to have to satisfy my craving. I work constantly on cutting my sugar back, but it's taken 50 years to get here. I figure it's going to take more than 6 months to lose my craving for sugar forever, and I think that was my biggest detriment. I could eat a whole package of licorice without a bat of an eye. Up here in Canada, we have similar stores to the States. We have a Dollarama, and you can get a whole package of licorice for $1. Mm-hmm. It's hard to give up when you go through Dollarama for that. So my strategy for that was just don't go to Dollarama for anything.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yes, I do still struggle with some sugar intake, but I know what I need to do. I've listened to your sugar YouTube video probably a dozen times, and it just gives me the reinforcement of what I need to do to cut that sugar right out of my life. And it's still going to take another 6 months, and I understand that. But again, it took 50 years to get there. It's not going to go away in 6 months.
I think a lot of guys can relate to that. I think there's a lot of guys who have a sweet tooth that haven't figured out some of the reasons or small strategies. Like, it's simple, right? You get licorice at Dollarama, you don't go to Dollarama. Like, I mean, these little subtle things, but they make a huge difference. I'd like to know how much the mission statement aspect of this program, or maybe getting clear on some of your deep motivations, helped you move forward and stay more dedicated to this kind of approach.
So,
or your reasons why, really.
So one of the other things that was happening in my life for the last, I guess I'll start 11 years ago or 12 years ago. I was at work at the place I work presently, and all of a sudden started peeing blood. And this is kind of a bit of a long story, but I think it's going to be well worth it. So working close to a hospital, I went right over to the hospital, and I'll tell the whole story. So I went into the hospital and I could not pee anything, like just drops of blood were coming out. So of course we went to emerge and the nurse is looking at me and I'm a pretty big guy at the time. I'm probably 280 pounds. And she's kind of looking at me and said, just go try one more time. I said, there's nothing coming out. She goes, well, you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to put a catheter in. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go, right? Like this is something this was 10 years ago. So I'm 47, 46. This is something that I did not figure I wanted to do. And so she says, you big guys usually just faint or call me names. So the catheter went in, and when she said, uh-oh, I didn't know what to do. So there was so many clots in my bladder of blood that it wouldn't come out even through the catheter. It was a terrible bladder infection caused by an enlarged prostate, which is exacerbated by overeating, not eating the proper food, and all of that, and all of those things. So after that kind of cleared up and I went to a specialist, the doctor had said to me, you know, one of the things you can do is to lose a few pounds. My blood pressure was good. I've been very, 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 very fortunate in life. My blood pressure was good. My dad has diabetes. My blood sugars are spot on. My cholesterol has never been high. I'm just one of those lucky guys that all that's good was good. It was my weight that I struggled with. And the weight was causing medical issues that I didn't know about. I always thought, oh, I'm just overweight, but I can still run a 7-minute mile, which I guess isn't that fast. Anyway, so then over those 12 years, I lost and gained weight like no tomorrow and improperly, not eating poorly to lose weight or working out just to lose weight. One of the programs I was on, I was working out 3 times a day to lose enough calories so that I could, get below 220. I just felt terrible. Along with that, back 12 years ago, it started slowly, was having some erectile dysfunction issues. And again, they would kind of come and go with how much I weighed or how much I worked out, and not in a way you'd think. You'd think, okay, he's lost weight, it goes away. That didn't happen. It was an up and down struggle. And so about 2 years ago, I started talking to the specialist about some medication to help with that. And, he'd give you a couple samples, and it's just, for me, it's just not something a couple needs to do on a whim, right? Okay, so maybe tonight we're going to have some relations. I'll go up and take a couple pills, and we'll see what happens. To me, that's not a healthy relationship. My wife was very supportive through the whole thing, but it's still, for me, and it just wasn't a healthy relationship for me personally. So I had gotten a new prescription and I hadn't filled it yet before I started the program in January. In January, I started the program. I started listening to the nutrition end of things and the supplement end of things, and I started doing some research. And sure enough, I started taking the supplements that you'd suggested, if not all of them, most of them. I switched from a vitamin to greens. I started taking the supplements you suggested. And the last 4 months, it's been non-issue for my wife and I. There's a lot more spontaneity in our relationship. It's made a big change in our lives together, especially as we age. I mean, I'm 57. My wife is 56. It just made a huge change in our relationship to be able to the spontaneity. We're empty nesters now. It's awesome. So I do put a lot of faith into the program just for that, especially the nutrition end of things and the supplement end of things.
That is a powerful story you shared. And I think of all the things you've shared, what just hit me the most of your story, and I got chills as you were saying it, is just how this has impacted your family and your relationship with your wife by getting healthier. And I think there's a lot of guys that silently struggle with stuff like ED because it's based on weight or cardiovascular health, all these things, the blood flow issues, that you were able to fix those with proper supplementation, cleaning up your nutrition. And even as a guy who exercised a lot and were still fit by many standards, you had the excess weight and you still had so much you could change, and you did. And I'm really happy for you. I'm happy for your wife and for your future, really. I mean, you're 57 years young now. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, thank you. You know what? I think I said this earlier, but I've never felt this good weighing what I do now. And my weight does fluctuate 3 or 4 pounds. And I on the website, I keep telling people that, well, my weight, I didn't drop anything this week. I keep saying, don't worry about it. Keep at it, because it's not just about the weight. It's about how you feel, and not just how you look on the outside, but how you look on yourself on the inside, and really make sure that this is something that you want to feel like all the time. I know when I've eaten poorly pretty quickly, right? Like, really quickly that, yep, last night I shouldn't have had that. But it felt good at the time. But on hindsight, you're like, yeah, you know what? Half of that would have been fine. And so you just kind of keep plugging away and doing what you need to do. The great thing about this program is you can adjust it to what you need to do. If you want to lose 1 pound a month, that's what you can do. If you want to lose, what I did in 6 months, you can do that. It's really up to you and how you want to make a change in your life to make you feel and look as good as you want to. So I am quite an avid rower. If I can row every day, I will row every single day. And so that's my problem right now is finding when to do those great destroyers, and I'll throw an Apex 10 in if I need a little bit quicker workout. This morning I was out for a 10K row. And my boat now, compared to last summer, sits about 1.5 inches higher in the water, which makes it just easier for me to move that boat through the water. People have said to me on the water, Smitty, what's going on? You look great, and your boat's moving faster. So that alone has given me lots of inspiration to, and it's the same thing. I get up in the morning, and so before I leave for the lake, because it's about a 12-minute drive, excuse me, I make my shake. And you know why? Because it's all sitting on the counter ready to be made. And I don't make it the night before, because if the weather's not very good, I'll just come downstairs and do my workout down here, and I'll make my shake after my workout. But it's made a huge difference. And I'm going to tell you, it's ridiculous how much I'm involved in rowing. I sit on national boards. I'm an international umpire for rowing. In fact, I was lucky enough a few weeks ago to head to Italy for an Olympic qualifier. So I was in Italy for 5 days. There was lots of hoops to jump through to get over there and back. But the same thing, when I was over there, it was harder to eat as healthy as I wanted to, because of course you're in Italy, but I did it. I mean, yeah, I might have had more pasta than I usually have, but I kept the glass of wine down to 1. My room was the size of a postage stamp, but you know what? You can do the workouts that you post on YouTube, your hotel workouts or your vacation workouts, with no weights at all, and still get a great workout in 30 to 35 minutes, and feel good about going out and having a little bit of extra risotto, or the chief umpire would buy everybody a glass of wine or a bottle of wine for each table. So I mean, all that stuff works out so well, and it's just about learning. And I'm so much looking forward to moving forward now that the gyms are open. I plan to get out of phase 2 in the next 4 or 5 weeks. I've just kind of refreshed phase 2 because I couldn't go to the gyms, and I really am really encouraged about going to the gym and starting to doing some weights once a week, and then moving into phase 3, because I've started reading about phase 3, and it looks like a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, you're going to kick butt in phase 3. I can't wait, especially with access to the gym. Some of those new workouts are going to be great for you. And the nutrition, when we do some carb cycling, I think is going to help you even lean up even further. Can't imagine another 5 pounds of fat off you. You're just going to be completely shredded.
I can hardly wait. I really can hardly wait. The gym's open Friday. I can start booking times tomorrow night.
I'd love for you to give some advice to a guy who maybe like you were, even maybe a year and a half ago, a guy who likes exercise, has a busy career, but has yo-yoed quite a bit with his weight in the past and hasn't found something that's really stuck with him long term. Maybe he has some health issues, some ED, maybe it's blood pressure, something he hasn't handled. What kind of advice would you give to that guy starting out?
I think the best advice I can give anybody is in that position. would be to sit down and take a look at your lifestyle, how you're feeling, and what you want to achieve. And then find the program. This program works great. Sit down, read as much as you can. It's not something you have to start doing. You don't have to be like me and start the Apex 10 the first day and love it. Do all of the reading, look at the nutrition, move into it slowly if you want. As I said, I still struggle with sugar intake, and I know what I need to do. And I know that someone in my position, if you sit down, take everything in, ask questions. The first month, I asked loads of questions in the Facebook page, and everybody's, even one like, if you post something, even one like puts you here, right? Oh, someone else is in my position, right? Or, the same thing happened. I was struggling finding dumbbells. I had the first 3 weeks, I had 25-pound dumbbells. And I was struggling finding dumbbells locally with the pandemic. I mean, everybody was buying dumbbells and kettlebells. I mean, you couldn't find anything. People were asking $3 and $4 a pound for weight. It was ridiculous. And, these guys from local guys would say, try here or try there. Or I've heard this store is selling them at the same price they sold them before. And that worked out for me. I found some. So sit down, make your decision to make the changes you want in the first 30 days, and then sit down after you've done that and make decisions you want to make in the next 30 days. I'm at the point now where my decision, my mission statement for me right now, my first mission statement, I pulled it up just beforehand, was, in the next 30 days to lose 15 to 20 pounds. And that was dead on. I lost my 15 pounds. I met my first mission statement. And it was also just to feel better. I feel better at 220 than I do at 265. I'm nicer to people when I'm at 220. My wife likes me more when I'm at 220. My coworkers have said the same thing. I know you've lost weight, but your demeanor's changed. You're happy. You're easy-go-lucky. You're that guy that was 280 pounds 12 years ago with not a care in the world and didn't worry about his health. And all of a sudden, over the last 5 or 6 years, you've gotten, they never said miserable, but I would think I had miserable times because I just didn't feel good about myself. And this program's made a big, huge difference for me that way.
Yeah, I love it. You're feeling good. And I can tell just from how you're speaking and the smile on your face and the energy. It's like, although I didn't get a chance to meet you before when you were quote unquote more miserable, you're brimming with energy and just joy for life now. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And that's something that must be earned. And you certainly put in the reps, literally and metaphorically, to make this happen.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The other thing that I was just going to mention quick is, so right now when I row with the competitive kids, and I stay with 17-year-olds. I push them to make sure they beat me. I mean, I have no problem pushing young athletes to their max, and I make them work, and it's always, Smitty, we're supposed to be doing a category 4 workout here, and you're pushing me. And I'd say, oh, sorry. And they'd be like, no, it's awesome. My goal is to stay in front of you. And I keep saying, well, my goal is to stay with you, right? Like, you're 17 years old and I'm staying with you. You should be, 100 meters ahead of me. But, I just have a great time on the water. And even yesterday morning, I did a great destroyer. And the feeling I get when I'm done, when you are covered in sweat and your arms hurt because you can't do one more shoulder press, it just makes me feel satisfied, right? Like, I'm so lucky that way. I just feel like I've done my bit, and it changes the tone for the whole day, right? For me, morning workouts work great.
Yeah, I think they work great for a lot of guys. And I think that feeling, you've mentioned the word feel so many times, because I think the real treasure that it seems that you've uncovered in your life is this feeling of feeling good, feeling motivated, feeling like you're young again, feeling like you've reinvigorated your marriage, and also feeling honest that you've come far. There are still struggles that you're actively working on. You're setting new goals and you're keeping the guardrails up. And I think that's the perspective that's going to keep you successful for another, not just 6 months, but 6 years. It's the same stuff, being consistent with it. And you've definitely found your groove. That's very clear to me from this conversation.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, Dr. Balduzzi. It's a great feeling, and I think I found my workout plan. Right. I mean, just listening to some of the
Hmm.
other people on the Facebook page, or and the other thing I want to mention is your staff's awesome. Right. I get these emails saying, how was your week? You don't have to answer me, but if you want to, you can, and I'll answer them. Like Kat and Ben are awesome.
Hmm.
I'll ask them a question, and within 24 hours I have an answer. They're always so encouraging. I had questioned some of the sugar intake, and Kat's like, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Try this or try that. They're always, so supportive. It's just it's the program I needed to move on with my age.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad you found us. I mean, I don't exactly know how it happens, but I think it's so special when it does, when the stuff that we've been working so hard to put out there in terms of videos, articles, the content meets the right man at the right time, which was you at the beginning of this year. And the greatest gift you gave us, Smitty, was doing this program and working it. Like, people who are listening to this don't get the benefit of seeing some of your pictures, but I looked at them beforehand. The change you made in 6 months was incredible. And I know it's so much more than visual, but like, I'm really proud of you, is really what I'm trying to say. I'm really
Oh,
proud of you, and thank you for working this program and being the kind of guy we built this for. You're the man. I think that's as simple as that.
well, I can't thank you enough for putting something out there for guys like us, right? I mean, it's a great program. I promote it all the time I can. I still get people at work that's like, yeah, another internet program. I said, no, you know what? This is different. If you try it for the 30 days and don't like it, then that's fine. It's not for you. But if you try it for 30 days and like it, then you found something for the rest of your life, right? I mean, it's just so encouraging, and yeah, I love it. I can't say enough good things about it.
Amazing. I would love for you to end with anything else you'd like to share, any final words of wisdom. I know you certainly gave a lot of appreciation to our team, and I echo that. Our team is really, I think, a huge part of what makes this program special. But anything else you'd like to share in closing of this episode? I mean, nothing more needs to be added. This has been amazing. But I want to give you the floor one more time before we wrap this up.
Okay, well, all I can say is I want to thank you, but I want to tell those guys that are on the fence that the best thing I did for myself and for my family was to try to try that first phase. It's a small fee to pay to get the support and to realize what you can and need to do to live the rest of your life healthy. I just joined the phase one. There was some sort of special. I can't remember how much it was, and it doesn't matter. Um, but as soon as that was up, I had joined. I had joined as a life member. There was no thought process. It was just, yep, this is what we're going to do now. And so it was a no brainer. It's such a small thing to do for yourself for the rest of your life. I can hardly wait what the next year is going to bring. I really can hardly wait.
I can't hardly wait either. I would love eventually to get a video of you rowing in front of those 17-year-olds. So if you can get someone to do a camera, if someone can keep up with you camera on the water, I would love to see you pushing those young athletes at 57 years young, my friend. You're an inspiration. Thank you for being here with us. And I want to post that video to show people what fit fathers can do. And especially even when you're at 60 and they're still trying to catch you. I know that's going to be the case.